Hi, 8th graders. Ms. Hollenbeck for Vocab Lesson 4. And as you can see, I changed venue. I'm in my kitchen now, and the light is shining on my hair, making it even grayer, for which I'm really making it look like it's even grayer. So that's just what I need, you know. Anyway, I'm on page 15. This is a context lesson, so I'm not going to read the article at the end, but just make sure you read, well, I'll remind you the type of contextual clues to look for. Okay? Great. All right, the first word is affluent. Affluent is an adjective, and this adjective has to do with having a lot, or it could refer to wealth. If a person is affluent or affluent, then they have a lot of money. It could also refer to perhaps crops, which is not the case, unfortunately, in Colorado this summer. Crops are not affluent this summer, so it refers to having an abundance. Okay? Our second word is banter. Now, banter, this is an easy word to deposit in your word bank because you guys do it all the time. You just haven't put the label of banter on what you do. This can be a noun or a verb, same spelling. You can banter, or you could share a humorous banter or a witty banter. If you want to banter with someone, Mrs. Roybal, she's the one who can provide some witty banter. Banter is kind of a fun, joking exchange, witty exchange of comments. And banter is, if you want to banter with somebody, you're just joking, playful joking with them with your words. And usually it's more on the witty side. It's not the slapstick sort of stuff. All right? It's intelligent joking, okay? Using puns and that sort of thing. Double entendre. Now you should know what that means after Thursday's class, last Thursday's class. Okay? So once again, same spelling, noun or verb, Mrs. Roybal. She's the one you want to banter with. Brevity. Brevity is a noun, and you see, you could hear the word brief in there. Brief is the adjective form. Brevity is the noun, and it's the shortness of something, the brevity of this lesson, or the brevity of the speech, the brevity of the Republican National Convention due to the Hurricane Isaac, I think. So, yeah, having to do with the shortness in time or something. Connotation. Connotation is a noun. You hear my dog in the background. Sorry about that. Connotation. We talked about this last year in poetry class. And the word we related it to closely was denotation. The denotation is the actual definition of a word. Denotation, definition. Okay, now connotation, those are the emotions or images attached to a certain word. All right? And I think I used examples like I'd rather get a bad grade rather than a horrendous grade, okay? Because horrendous has images connected to it and emotions connected to it. I think I used the example too of anorexic as opposed to svelte in describing a thin person. So one just has different images connected to it. When you hear this word, an image pops into your mind. That's a connotative word. Those are the type of words you want to use. And as you write your purple love potion story, try to use connotative words, words that help create an image. It doesn't have to be very long. All right, so make every word count. Just a little reminder to you with that as well. Embellish. Embellish is a verb. The noun form, if we want to turn it into a noun, we'd simply add the suffix ment. Remember, our suffixes really help determine part of speech. Okay? And an ment ending makes it a noun. But we're working with the word embellish. Okay? And that's a verb. Embellishment is the noun. So, if I'm going to embellish on something, I'm going to add to. It's kind of like modifying, you know, in what our modifiers do in our sentences. We embellish to make it, well, for a couple of reasons: to make it better, clearer, more fantastical. Sometimes, well, what do I mean? Sometimes, all the time, people your age like to embellish their stories as far as making the day sound just horrible. And you might use very connotative words, or you might use hyperbole. Do you remember hyperbole from poetry? I had the worst day ever, and you go on to embellish, to add decoration to what was probably not a terrible day, just not your best. Okay? That's embellish. Imbibe. It's a word. I like the word imbibe. It's a verb. And imbibe means the main meaning means to drink in something. After a run, I like to imbibe a water bottle full of ice cold water. Okay? So it means to drink in almost greedily, you know, like, oh, can't get enough. Well, imbibe is a word not only to be used with drinking in like liquid, but also knowledge. And that's how I like to use that word. Imbibing in a wonderful novel, drinking it in. Oh, there's just nothing better. You know, it's kind of fun to do. You know how it is when you can't put down that book. You have to keep on reading. You're imbibing in that. You're drinking it in. All right? Experiencing the full effect. Okay? So imbibe, it's a verb. Nostalgic. Nostalgic is an adjective. Nostalgia is the noun form. Okay? Nostalgic, adjective. Nostalgic, and your parents may have done this or may do this. I get nostalgic when Chloe turns on the TV on Saturday morning, and there's all these TV shows. Oh, I forget what the channel it is, where all these old programs like The Flying Nun and The Monkees. That makes me nostalgic. It makes me long for the past, or remember when I was young and watched those shows on Saturdays as well. Okay? Nostalgic, you just kind of look, or you look back in the past, and you get a sense of, that was kind of longing, you know, for the past, because you're remembering just a time when you're younger and the fun times that you had. That's nostalgic. Are there specific times when people are more nostalgic than other times? Sure. You know, like family reunions, people get nostalgic. Let's see, on class reunions, people get nostalgic. Okay. After you graduate from Bethlehem, you're going to get nostalgic thinking about, oh, Nino Hollenbeck, how she made you write in cursive on your literature papers. All right. So I know that's going to happen, but you know, you have to have one teacher that you can complain about when you're older. I'm happy to be that teacher. Novice is a person noun. Novice is a person noun, and a novice is somebody who's new to a job or a position, and never does not have the experience of a mentor. He's a novice. He's a newbie. He's hasn't done a particular job before, or just hasn't had the same experiences. So a person may be a novice in a particular area. Now, age has nothing to do with that. I'm kind of a novice when it comes to cooking Thai food. I kind of dabbled in that this summer, kind of enjoyed it, but I'm a novice at it. I don't have the experience with it yet that I would like to. Okay? So novice, once again, person noun. Reiterate. And I do this frequently. You probably know what reiterate means. Reiterate is a verb, and it means to restate for emphasis. I'm going to say it a few times. I'm going to repeat myself purposely most of the time, so that you get the point. All right, you understand the word or the lesson. Reiterate, once again, you are restating something to make a point or for emphasis. Okay, for clarification as well. Okay, and it's a verb. If I didn't say that before, let me reiterate that it's a verb. Stipend. Stipend is a noun, and every 2 weeks, or rather the 15th and the 31st, I receive a stipend. This is amount of money for the labor that I put in over those 2 weeks. Okay, so it's a person's wages. That's its initial meaning. Now, it has changed a little bit. Now, a stipend can also mean money that you get for extra jobs. Okay, so I get my wages for teaching, but let's say I do, for instance, if I ref some games, I may or may not receive a stipend for that. Okay, that's extra money for doing an extra job. Okay, it's like originally it was a person's salary. Now it's extra money for extra jobs. Okay, but it's a noun. Now, your context lesson is on page 49, I believe it begins. Let me turn there. Yes, indeed. And this is an excellent article about the Brooklyn Bridge. If you read these for more than just the vocab words, you learn some interesting things. I like this article. I like the Batman one before it too, but this one, yeah, having to do with the Brooklyn Bridge, and then a man who wrote a poem about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. Kind of interesting. Let me remind you of some of the contextual clues. We have the synonym, the exact synonym that might follow it. Or we also have the, if we're working with a noun, and we have a noun right after it, that could be, the contextual clue could be in a positive. Another one is the opposite. We understand what the word means because they give us the opposite, or they tell us what it doesn't mean. All right, that's another context clue. A third type of contextual clue is giving you an example of the word. In the 7th grade book, the article on Socrates, you may or may not remember it, they showed you what an excerpt was by providing an actual excerpt from Socrates' writing entitled Apology. Okay, so remember, synonym, antonym, example. The fourth type is the simile and metaphors. All right, make sure that they make sure that if you see like or as or a metaphor in there, they really like to do that because understanding similes and metaphors, that's challenging, yet really helps to develop higher level thinking skills. Okay? Let's see, I think I should, all of them. Oh, you know, the words right after, the definitions, I think there's one in here where, or a couple in here where the definition, the exact definition is right after it, you know. Watch for that. Okay, those are the easy ones. Okay. Now this will start a series of, this lesson will start the series of 4, 5, and 6. And then we will have a review test on those. Please try to not get so far ahead that you forget which words you should be studying for the review tests. Mid-September, we will have a review test on 1, 2, and 3. All right? Keep that in mind. And make sure you're always keeping track of your worksheets when I hand them back to you, okay? Especially your quizzes. Okay? You should know that after last year, okay? So, blessings, and we'll talk to you again soon.